Welcome to another episode of StuTube. Today's episode is going to be slightly different. Rather than my typical Bitcoin analysis, I will be showing you one of my favorite trading tools and how I like to use it, which can be added to the trading arsenal when looking for additional confluence on trade entries as well as taking profits. And that is one that I use on my channel all the time, which is, of course, the Fibonacci retracement tool. So basically what this thing will do is you can take it from a range low or a swing low, whatever, and if you want to find where, let's say, a trend has shown some weakness and it's seen a bit of a pullback, this tool can help you just basically see what percentage of the move it is pulling back. And there's some certain levels that I really enjoy looking at a lot more than others, and you guys know that I point some of those levels out on my charts all the time, and that is the 786 and the 886 Fibonacci's. And I point these out as potential support and resistance levels on my channel all the time, you guys. And just because today I noticed that it worked out so well with scalping this range here, that I thought, you know, I should show you guys a video, because I've been pointing it out in the private Discord and stuff like that as well, how much I really love to look at these Fibonacci levels and how well they get respected on many different time frames. So basically what we have here is here we have our swing low, our current local low, and then this is basically where we have topped out so far. So, you know, what I would have loved to see in this scenario was, hey, we had a high here, we set a higher high here. I know the trend not so much, but just on a very micro time frame here, high here, higher high here. Would have loved to see this level come into play as the higher low level. Where I would have loved to see the bulls, you know, kick the price to the upside from there. But, you know, it never happened. We lost that support. So let's look at where this price may be going to. And just because, you know, these levels have only been tested once since we've really seen some of this downside volatility the other day, I thought, you know, I do think that there's a good chance that we test this level at least once more, get some kind of a bounce, even if we get a failed break below this level, and some kind of a bounce from there, just a bit of a fake out. But let's just check some levels that would be some good entries. And you guys know that I always point out the 786 and 886 fibs and how well they get respected all the time. Well, I shouldn't say all the time, just quite often those levels are respected. So just another thing before I go into it and show that is, you know, when you have a move like, when you have a move like this, it's very easy to want to FOMO in at these levels up here, because, you know, you've broke these highs. We should have basically a clear shot up towards resistance, right? Well, that doesn't always play out in your favor. And sometimes you're buying in right at the worst spot before going back down to the downside. So just looking for a level that would be a reasonable pullback would be looking, in my opinion, just because I find them respected so well, would be the 786, 886 Fibonacci levels. So what I'm going to do, and what I did this morning, what led me to scalp a bit of a long, was I wanted to take my swing low to our swing high currently, just in this micro trading range here. With Powell speaking today, there was expected to be a lot of volatility, so I was just thinking, if we saw some downside volatility, where can I expect a bit of a bounce if we're going to keep trading this range? I would ideally like to buy in this support range somewhere again, so let's just see where those Fibonacci's line up. Once we dumped that support, just look how well that those levels were respected on this dump here. That was some crazy downside volatility. This happened very fast, but look how well those levels were respected. Beautiful long entries there, laddered in along both Fibonacci's like that. Had an average entry right in the middle there. I had another entry down here, never got filled. I would have had my average somewhere in here in that case. But you know what? It is what it is. Got my first two entries, average entry in there. And now I was thinking, well, since Powell's speaking, it's a very volatile day, so I want to have take profits set very quickly, because and like you can see, that move happened very fast. But let's just look for some take profits in this case. Okay, so if I was looking for a bounce when I was looking swing bottom to swing high to find a bounce around these Fibonacci levels. If I'm looking for a rejection, I'm doing the exact opposite. So, and I know everybody, well, a lot of people use Fibonacci's different. That's totally fine. Find what works for you. This is just how I personally use them. So if I'm looking for a rejection, I'm going to go from where our current swing high of this range is down to where we bottomed out at that time. So after I took this entry here, where is it possible we get rejected? Let's pull that Fibonacci. And well, guess where I had my first take profit? Ding, 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 right there. Obviously, the 786 once again never hit the 886 target there, but that's totally fine. Just so well respected, so pinpoint accurate, so often that I just absolutely love those fib levels. And to be honest, I am in another speculative long right now. You know, I took good profits on that first scalp that I took there. Once again, you know, maybe we're testing this support too much. Let's just draw a bit of a support box, and what I'm going to do with that, I'm just basically going for the kill zone below this 15-minute little bit of bottom out action here where we got bought back up, just taking the whole wick there as a support box. And that's exactly where we were starting to find support again. And once again, just also having those fib levels. But I know it's uncomfortable buying in support, but support always looks weak until it gets some kind of a bounce. And yes, absolutely, I may lose this trade, still get stopped out below this box, whatever. I already took one snipe off this level and took profits up here. I was willing to take a second one here. And again, just because we have those awesome Fibonacci's lining up so perfectly. Once again, just look how well we respected both the 786 and the 886 once again. So just another nice entry there. If I lose, well, whatever. At least I'm not buying into the top and getting wrecked on the way down, buying at support levels and using these Fibonacci's as a little bit of confluence. So that's basically how I like to look at Fibonacci's. Like I said, I like to use them as support as well as resistance, and that's not going to work out every time, obviously. But it is just an interesting tool. I love to use it when looking for additional confluence. I could probably even pull it from here, this little swing here. I mean, really, same thing, basically going to be the same levels. But yeah, absolutely would have been a beautiful entry again for trying to catch bounce here. That's basically where my entry is. But yeah, that's just when I'm looking for levels that the market may be pulling back to. I think that's a very strong tool that can be used for looking for that additional confluence. And I can do the same on larger time frames as well. I mean, one thing that does concern me about my current long, and again, whatever, it's a super small loss if I do lose that one. But the fact that we actually did close a 4-hour candle below my blue line. You guys know I've been pointing out that upward sloping trend line had those perfect touch points. One thing going for it, however, is since we did have this fake out, usually if I get a fake out or a failed break like that, I do like to adjust my lines. So in that case, once again, we are still sticking above it. So there is that. Either way, whatever happens, but just showing you guys how I kind of use that tool. And actually here, so just to show you on a larger time frame here, you know, this current swing that we had where we had this unexpected pump to the upside. Let's just see from our swing low to our swing high, where did we end up finding potential support? Where are we right now on the 4-hour? I mean, once again, tested that 886 perfectly on that wick. Would have been perfect to catch a little scalp there, even if you even if we do crash to the downside here with a little bit of leverage. I mean, that's a nice little move to the upside there. And same thing, 786, you can see our candle bodies were respecting that level quite a bit as well. It's unfortunate that we dropped that level, but yeah, again, just looking at how well those fibs are respected. I can go on a much larger time scale here. This is my weekly chart. This is the logarithmic. So the Fibonacci on the logarithmic chart does look funny just because since it scales the price to make it all fit and look not ridiculous. The price, obviously there is big gaps there, so just the way this tool works with the percentages, it obviously looks a little skewed when it's in logarithmic, but it totally works the same. Just let's even go back to, let's go right back to where Bitcoin basically began. Let's go to its very bottom here, and let's just go to where the market cycle topped. I'm going to call this the first market cycle top in 2014, 2013. Where did our bear market end after we got that big dump? I mean, it got very close to the 886 here. Obviously, the 786. Yeah, you know what? The price did go down a little bit further. But does anybody who was buying Bitcoin at that level care? No, it was absolutely a beautiful spot buy entry there. Let's go to the next market cycle from this bear market bottom to our 20K market cycle all-time high. That's basically the first bear market that I think got a lot of media attention, basically. And if we look at that, where did the bear market bottom? Yeah, again, just never quite made it to the 886, but again, the 786, that would have been a beautiful entry. Look how well our COVID dump respected that. Very, very well respected. And that's with the global pandemic, you guys. That's just to show the power of these levels. So something definitely worth considering there. Let's check our current market cycle. Just for shits and giggles. I know I have pointed this out before, but yeah, just go from our previous bear market to our $69,000 all-time high this cycle. Well, what do you know? Never made it to the 886, but we did make it to that 786, and that's kind of where we had this little fake out. We actually formed a little W at that level, and even before we had that whole FTX debacle, that is where the market had bottomed out absolutely perfectly before that whole mess happened. So again, you guys, those are just very important fib levels in my opinion. The 618 as well. I don't want to discredit the 618. It can be respected very well as also. I mean, you can see that this whole consolidation before we had the second phase of our bear market here. It held as support for a very long time there. So also very important on a macro scale, on longer term trends, the 618 is beautiful. Also great, a great level to look for those pullbacks when looking for entries and that kind of thing. But I just find the 786, 886 are so well respected. And actually, here's another thing I can pull up that I know it respected perfectly with, because I remember doing a video about this, just looking at the DXY. This isn't even crypto related, and this goes back to, well, what is that, 2001? Right now we're in, yeah, so this is 22 years later, 22 years worth of data in this Fibonacci pull, just looking for where I thought the DXY may end up getting rejected in this market cycle. Well, what do you know? If we go down from our 22 years ago down to where the DXY bottomed, look where we ended up finding some resistance. Very close to the 886. Definitely, well, looking like rejection at the 786. Just, again, that it just affects every market. Very well respected. And I think it's some very important levels to be watching in the future, and just some great confluence to add to your trading tools, like I said. So anyways, guys, if you did appreciate this insight to kind of some of my what I look at when I'm looking for entries and taking profits and that kind of thing. If you do appreciate these videos, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the video if you haven't. And yeah, let me know what you think about this video. Let me know if you use the Fibonacci tool, what you like about it, what you don't like about it, anything like that. One of my favorite tools. But yeah, like I said, thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. With that, I'm out. Stay safe, my friends. Peace.